Have you ever been in a conversation in English where you understood every single word, but still had no idea what the person was actually trying to say? I have. I was standing in a London pub, feeling utterly triumphant because I had just correctly ordered a pint. The bartender smiled, slid the beer towards me, and said, "That'll be £6, love. You all right?" And I froze. My mind raced. Quid? Love? All right? I knew these words individually, but strung together, they were a code I couldn't crack. I just stood there, smiling like a fool, until the person behind me gently explained that quid means pounds, love is a friendly term, and you all right is just another way to say how are you? In that moment, I didn't just feel embarrassed, I felt the vast, confusing gap between textbook English and the living, breathing language people actually use. That gap is exactly what we're going to bridge together in this podcast. Welcome to Learn English with Real-Life Conversations, Intermediate Level. I'm your host, and I've been exactly where you are right now. This podcast isn't about perfect grammar or reciting vocabulary lists. It's about understanding the music of the language, the idioms, the slang, the subtle nuances, and the cultural context that they never teach you in a classroom. Each episode, we'll dive deep into a common real-life scenario, break it down, and equip you with the confidence not just to speak, but to connect. Let's start with a crucial piece of data that changed my entire approach to learning. Research shows that over 55% of our daily communication is nonverbal. But for language learners, we often get so fixated on the words that we miss everything else: the tone of voice, the body language, the facial expressions. That's why, in our conversations, we won't just listen to the words, we'll learn to listen for the meaning behind them. So, for our first tip, I want you to forget about trying to sound like a dictionary. Instead, focus on becoming a language detective. When you hear a new phrase, don't just translate it. Ask yourself, what is the context? Who is saying it, and to whom? What is their relationship? Is the tone formal, friendly, or sarcastic? This shift in mindset, from being a passive learner to an active detective, is the single most powerful tool you can develop at the intermediate level. It turns every conversation, every TV show, every song, into a learning opportunity. In our next segment, we'll simulate a casual conversation between friends, but for now, I want you to hold on to this idea. Your mission this week is to listen for one phrase that you don't fully understand, not just the words, but the intent. Jot it down. We're building your detective kit together, one clue at a time. Stick with me, because understanding real English is closer than you think. Now, let's put on our detective hats and investigate a scene you'll encounter almost daily: ordering a coffee. This seems simple, right? But this is where the music of the language truly plays. Textbook English teaches you, "Hello, I would like a coffee, please." And that is perfectly correct. But in the wild, in a busy coffee shop, you'll hear a symphony of shortened, efficient, and culturally coded language. Let's listen to a real-life exchange. You're about to hear a conversation between me and a barista named Sam. As you listen, I want you to pay attention to three things: the contractions, the filler words, and the specific vocabulary they use. Don't worry about understanding every single word just yet. First, just absorb the rhythm. Audio sequence: sound of a busy coffee shop, mugs clinking, a faint coffee machine whirring. Barista Sam: "Hey there. What can I get for you?" Me: "Hi. I think I'm gonna go with a large latte today." Sam, sure thing. That's a venti latte? For here or to go? Me, to go, please. Sam, okay, your total is $4.50. Need a receipt? Me, I'm good, thanks. Did you catch that? Let's rewind and break it down, because this 20-second exchange is a goldmine. First, the greeting, hey there. Not good morning, sir. It's immediate, friendly, and sets a casual tone. My response included and I think I'm gonna go with. Textbook English would scold us for the hesitation and the informal gonna, but this is how people actually speak. It shows you're considering your options, it sounds natural. Now, the vocabulary. I said large, but Sam confirmed with venti. That's specific to that coffee shop chain. This is a critical listening skill, recognizing when a brand name is being used for a size. You don't need to memorize all brand sizes, but you need to understand that when a barista says tall, grande, or venti, they are asking for a size confirmation. My job was to simply agree. Then, the key question, for here or to go? This is universal. You must have this phrase ready. And finally, my response to need a receipt was I'm good, thanks. This is a fantastically versatile phrase. It's a polite way to decline something. It doesn't mean I am a good person. It means no, thank you, I don't need that. You can use it when someone offers you more food, a bag, or help. I'm good, thanks. It's a small phrase that makes you sound incredibly natural. Let's step into a different, but equally common, social situation, a casual chat between friends. This is where the English you hear can deviate the most from the textbook. The grammar gets flexible, the sentences can trail off, and the meaning is often carried by shared understanding and context. This used to terrify me, because I felt I was missing the rule book. But there is a rule book, it's just unwritten. And today, we're going to write it together. Imagine you've met your friend, Alex, for a drink at a pub. The atmosphere is relaxed. The goal isn't to exchange formal information, it's to connect, to share feelings and updates in a loose, friendly way. Listen to this short conversation, and this time, pay special attention to how questions are formed and how sentences are often left incomplete, yet perfectly understood. Audio sequence, the gentle hum of a pub, glasses clinking softly in the background. Alex, so, how've you been? You all right? Me, yeah, not too bad. Been absolutely slammed at work, to be honest. You know how it is. Alex, tell me about it. My project's doing my head in. Anyway, fancy another one? Me, oh, go on then. Why not? Immediately, you hear the difference. How've you been, instead of how have you been? You all right, instead of how are you? This is the realm of contractions and elisions. But let's dig deeper into the gold here. I said, been absolutely slammed at work. Notice, I dropped the subject dive. This is very common in spoken English when the subject is clear from the context. Slammed is a brilliant informal adjective meaning extremely busy. It's so much more vivid than very busy. Then, Alex uses the fantastic idiom doing my head in. This is a classic British expression meaning something is frustrating, annoying, or confusing you. It's a piece of cultural vocabulary that instantly adds color and emotion. He could have said my project is frustrating, but doing my head in creates a shared sense of exasperation. And finally, the invitation, fancy another one? This is an informal way to say, would you like another drink? The response, oh, go on then. Why not, is a playful, agreeable acceptance. Go on then is a phrase used when you're pretending to be slightly persuaded into something you actually want to do. It's all about the subtext and the friendly negotiation. You're not just saying yes, you're saying yes in a way that builds camaraderie. This is the hidden social function of language we're learning to decode. Now, let's tackle one of the biggest fears for any intermediate speaker, the moment you get lost in a conversation. It happens to everyone, native speakers included. The true skill isn't about avoiding confusion, but knowing how to navigate your way out of it with grace and confidence. This is the difference between a conversation that fizzles out and one that flows. I want you to reframe the way you see these moments. Instead of viewing them as failures, see them as opportunities to demonstrate active listening. The person you're talking to doesn't expect you to be a perfect understanding machine. They do, however, appreciate it when you show you're engaged and trying to follow along. Let's listen to a scenario where I hit a comprehension roadblock and how I handle it. Audio sequence, sounds of a casual park setting, birds chirping, distant chatter. Friend, so, I was going to just chill at home, but then Sarah rang. She said they're all going to that new gaff by the river. Sounds like a right laugh. Me, sorry, a new what by the river? I didn't catch that. Friend, oh, a gaff. It just means a place, like a pub or a club. Me, ah, got it. And a right laugh means it should be fun, yeah? Friend, exactly. You're getting it. Do you see what happened there? I didn't just smile and nod, hoping I'd figure it out later. I politely interrupted and asked for clarification on the specific word I didn't understand. A new what? Using what in that way is a very natural and non-confrontational way to signal a gap. Then, after my friend explained gaff, I double-checked my understanding of a right laugh. This showed I was still following the main thread of the story. Here is your crucial takeaway: your clarification tools are your best friends. Let's build your arsenal. You have, sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat that? What does the word mean? So, are you saying that, followed by paraphrasing? Using these phrases does not make you look weak. It makes you look committed to the conversation. It shows respect for the speaker because you are ensuring you understand their message. In fact, native speakers use these phrases all the time. The next time you feel that pang of panic because a slang word or a fast sentence whizzes by, take a breath, smile, and deploy one of your tools. You will be amazed at how positively people respond. But understanding the words and knowing what to say is only half the battle. The other half, and this is a huge piece of the puzzle, is pronunciation. Not just pronouncing individual words correctly, but the rhythm and music of the language. This was my biggest hurdle. I could construct a perfect sentence in my head, but when I said it out loud, people would just stare at me blankly. The problem wasn't the words, it was the stress. English is a stress-timed language. This means that we don't give each syllable the same amount of time. Instead, we stress certain keywords in a sentence and quickly glide over the others. The stressed syllables occur at regular intervals, almost like a heartbeat, and the unstressed syllables are squeezed in between. This rhythm is what gives English its distinctive sound. Let me demonstrate. Take the sentence, I want to go to the cinema. Now, if I say it with each word equally stressed, it sounds robotic and unnatural. But listen to how I say it with natural sentence stress, I want to go to the cinema. Did you hear it? The words want, go, and cin- in cinema are stressed. They are the content words, the verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs that carry the core meaning. The little words like to and the become weak and fast. We almost swallow them. In fact, to and the often become just a quick ta and the sound. This brings us to the most important sound in the English language, the schwa. It's that lazy, neutral S sound, represented by an upside-down E in the phonetic alphabet A. This is the sound we use for most unstressed syllables. In cinema, the last syllable ma is a schwa, cinema. In tu, it becomes ta. In a, it's a. Mastering the schwa is like finding the secret key to natural rhythm. It's the sound of relaxation. When you stop trying to pronounce every single letter perfectly and instead allow unstressed syllables to become soft and weak, your English will instantly sound more fluid and confident. Now that we understand the power of sentence stress in the schwa, let's dive into the magical phenomenon that makes everything flow together, connected speech. Native speakers don't pronounce each word separately like items on a list. We connect them, we blend them, we change sounds to make them easier to say quickly. This is often the final barrier between being understood and sounding natural. When you master connected speech, you stop sounding like a textbook and start sounding like a person. There are 3 key processes in connected speech: linking, assimilation, and elision. They might sound complicated, but I promise, your mouth already wants to do them. Let's start with linking. This happens when a word ends in a consonant sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound. We link them together. For example, an apple is not an apple. It's an apple. Try it. He ate an apple. The end sound attaches to the beginning of apple. Another very common one is can I. It becomes cani. This linking is what creates the smooth, flowing river of speech instead of a series of separate, choppy ponds. Next is assimilation, where a sound changes to become more like a neighboring sound because it's easier to pronounce. A classic example is handbag. You might expect it to be pronounced handbag, but most people say handbag. The N sound changes to an M sound because the following sound is a B, which is made with the lips, just like M. Your brain naturally makes this efficiency. Listen to this, I asked for a coffee. Say it quickly. I asked for. It often comes out as I asked for. The ed in asked changes from a D sound to a T sound because of the following F. This isn't laziness, it's the sophisticated machinery of spoken language. Finally, elision, which is the disappearance of a sound altogether. A very common one is in the word comfortable. We don't say comfortably. We say comfortable. The or sound often vanishes. In the phrase most common, the T in most frequently disappears, most common. Your ear needs to get trained to expect these missing sounds. This is why I don't know can sound like I dunno. Remember, your goal is not to meticulously pronounce every letter. It's to communicate with ease and rhythm. Connected speech is the tool that makes it possible. We've been dissecting the sounds of English, but language isn't just about sounds. It's about thought. It's about how we organize our ideas in real time while we're speaking. This is where many intermediate learners hit a wall. You have the vocabulary, you understand the grammar, but conversations feel like a high-wire act without a net. You're thinking 3 steps ahead about verb tenses, and you have no mental space to actually be interesting. So, how do native speakers do it? How do they seem to talk so effortlessly? The secret isn't that they know more words than you, it's that they use tiny, powerful words and phrases to buy themselves time and structure their thoughts. These are called discourse markers or sentence fillers. Let me be clear, I am not talking about meaningless filler like and I'm talking about the strategic use of words like well, so, actually, you know, I mean, and anyway. These are the signposts that guide the listener through your conversation. They manage the flow, they signal a change of topic, they help you clarify, and most importantly, they give your brain a precious second to formulate the next chunk of your sentence. Think of them as the conversational punctuation you don't have to write down. Let's listen to a short monologue. I'm going to tell you about my weekend, and I want you to listen not for the content of what I did, but for the little words that structure the story. Audio sequence, a thoughtful pause. Okay, so my weekend. Well, it was pretty good, actually. I was planning to just clean the flat, you know, the usual boring stuff. But then, out of the blue, my friend calls me. So we decided to go for a hike. It was absolutely stunning. Anyway, long story short, we ended up getting completely soaked in the rain. Did you hear them? So to start the story. Well, to show I'm considering my response. Actually, to slightly contrast what I expected with what happened. You know, to create a sense of shared understanding. To clarify or rephrase my thought. Anyway, to signal that I'm skipping some details to get to the main point. These small words did the heavy lifting of making my story sound natural and connected. Your mission is not to eliminate fillers, but to upgrade them. Replace nervous ums with thoughtful wells and strategic you knows. This one change will dramatically increase your fluency and confidence. Let's shift our focus from output to input. What happens when the conversation is flowing and you're not the one talking? This is where the art of active listening comes into play. Active listening is not just about hearing the words, it's about demonstrating that you are engaged, interested, and following along. It's the secret sauce that transforms a one-sided monologue into a genuine, two-way dialogue. For years, I thought being a good conversationalist meant having interesting things to say. I was wrong. It starts with being a good listener. Think about a time you told a story to someone who was just waiting for their turn to speak. How did that feel? Now, think about talking to someone who was fully present, nodding, making small sounds of agreement, and asking relevant questions. That feeling is priceless. Your goal is to become that second person. And you can do this even with a limited vocabulary. You do it with what we call back-channeling. These are the small verbal and nonverbal cues that show you're on the same page. Listen to how I respond in this short snippet. Pay attention not to what I say, but to how I show I'm listening. Audio sequence, a friend speaking with mild excitement. Friend, so I finally managed to book those tickets for the concert. It was a nightmare, the website kept crashing right at the payment stage. Me, oh no! Really? That's so frustrating. Friend, I know. I must have tried like 10 times. But then I used my phone instead of my laptop and it went through straight away. Me? Ah, okay. Wow, that's a good tip actually. Did you hear the tools I used? Oh no, to show empathy. Really, to express interest and encourage more details. That's so frustrating to label the emotion they were conveying. Ah, okay, to signal understanding. Wow, to show a mild surprise or appreciation. These are not full sentences, but they are powerful conversational glue. They require very little grammar, but they have a huge impact. They tell the speaker, I am with you. Please, continue. This builds rapport and makes the other person feel valued, which in turn makes them more patient and receptive when it's your turn to speak. So, you're actively listening, using your discourse markers, and feeling more confident. Then, you turn on a movie or meet someone new, and suddenly, it's like the English you've learned has been thrown out the window. The sounds are different, the rhythm is strange, and words seem to melt together in unfamiliar ways. Welcome to the wonderfully diverse world of accents and dialects. This isn't a setback, it's the final frontier of your intermediate journey, and conquering it is entirely possible. I remember the first time I heard a strong Scottish accent. I had to ask the person to repeat themselves 3 times. I felt defeated. But then I realized my ear was simply untrained for that specific variation. Think of it like music. Your brain is used to listening to one genre, say pop music. When you first hear classical or jazz, it can be disorienting. But the more you listen, the more you start to appreciate its structure and beauty. Accents are the same. The key is active, focused exposure. You don't need to understand every accent perfectly, but you can train your ear to be more flexible and adaptable. Here's a practical strategy: don't try to understand everything. That's right, let that goal go. Instead, when you encounter a new accent, focus on catching the content words, the nouns, verbs, and adjectives that carry the core meaning. Let the smaller words and the unique vowel sounds wash over you at first. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It will start to pick up on the recurring sounds. For example, in some American accents, the T in the middle of a word like water can sound like a soft D, waiter. In some Australian accents, day can sound a bit like die. Knowing these common shifts beforehand is like having a decoder ring. My advice is to pick one accent you want to familiarize yourself with and immerse yourself in it for 15 minutes a day. Watch a YouTube vlogger from that region, listen to a local radio station, or find a TV show. Don't do it with the pressure of having to understand every word. Do it to let the melody of that particular version of English sink into your subconscious. Your brain will begin to adjust, and what was once a barrier will become just another fascinating layer of this global language. The goal is not to lose your own accent, but to develop an ear for others. So, you're actively listening, using your discourse markers, and feeling more confident. Then, you turn on a movie or meet someone new, and suddenly, it's like the English you've learned has been thrown out the window. The sounds are different, the rhythm is strange, and words seem to melt together in unfamiliar ways. Welcome to the wonderfully diverse world of accents and dialects. This isn't a setback, it's the final frontier of your intermediate journey, and conquering it is entirely possible. I remember the first time I heard a strong Scottish accent. I had to ask the person to repeat themselves 3 times. I felt defeated. But then I realized my ear was simply untrained for that specific variation. Think of it like music. Your brain is used to listening to one genre, say pop music. When you first hear classical or jazz, it can be disorienting. But the more you listen, the more you start to appreciate its structure and beauty. Accents are the same. The key is active, focused exposure. You don't need to understand every accent perfectly, but you can train your ear to be more flexible and adaptable. Here's a practical strategy: don't try to understand everything. That's right, let that goal go. Instead, when you encounter a new accent, focus on catching the content words, the nouns, verbs, and adjectives that carry the core meaning. Let the smaller words and the unique vowel sounds wash over you at first. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It will start to pick up on the recurring sounds. For example, in some American accents, the T in the middle of a word like water can sound like a softy, waiter. In some Australian accents, day can sound a bit like die. Knowing these common shifts beforehand is like having a decoder ring. My advice is to pick one accent you want to familiarize yourself with and immerse yourself in it for 15 minutes a day. Watch a YouTube vlogger from that region, listen to a local radio station, or find a TV show. Don't do it with the pressure of having to understand every word. Do it to let the melody of that particular version of English sink into your subconscious. Your brain will begin to adjust, and what was once a barrier will become just another fascinating layer of this global language. The goal is not to lose your own accent, but to develop an ear for others. So, we've talked about the music of the language, the hidden grammar of conversation, and the challenge of accents. Now, I want to bring it all together and talk about the single most important mindset that will take you from an intermediate learner to a confident speaker. It's a concept I call bridging the gap. This is the gap between the pristine, perfect English of the classroom and the messy, vibrant, sometimes illogical English of the streets, the pubs, and the coffee shops. For the longest time, I was terrified of making a mistake. I would rehearse sentences in my head before I said them, trying to ensure every preposition was perfect, every article in its right place. This pursuit of perfection was the very thing holding me back. It made me slow, hesitant, and robotic. The breakthrough came when I realized that communication is not about perfection, it's about connection. It's about getting your point across, sharing an idea, or understanding someone else's feeling. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They use the wrong verb tense in a casual story, they say who when they should say whom, and they constantly use slang that would make their old English teacher cringe. The goal, therefore, is not to speak perfect English. The goal is to become an effective communicator. This means prioritizing clarity and flow over grammatical precision. It means having a few key tools in your pocket to negotiate meaning when things break down. It means embracing the fact that you will sometimes sound a little silly, and that is more than okay, it's human. Think of a child learning to talk. They don't wait until they can form a perfect sentence before they speak. They babble, they point, they use the wrong word, and through that joyful, messy process, they learn and they connect. This is your permission slip to be a little messy. To try out a new idiom even if you're not 100% sure of the context. To ask what did you mean by that when you're confused. To laugh at your own mistakes. The bridge across the gap is built with the bricks of practice, curiosity, and a willingness to be imperfect. Every time you open your mouth and try, you are placing another brick on that bridge. And one day, you'll look back and realize the gap is gone, and you're standing firmly on the other side, not as a student of the language, but as a user of it. It's one thing to understand the individual pieces, the slang, the connected speech, the fillers, but the real magic happens when they all come together in a flowing, authentic conversation. To finish our journey for today, I want to present you with a longer, unscripted-sounding dialogue. Then, we'll dissect it together, and you will see how everything we've learned is present in this one short exchange. This is the ultimate proof that you are not just learning isolated rules, you are learning to understand the living system of the language. Imagine we are in a busy pub on a Friday evening. The atmosphere is loud and energetic. Listen to this conversation between me and my friend, Mark. Audio sequence, the lively sounds of a pub, laughter, and music in the background. Mark, oi, over here. I managed to bag us a table. Me, nice one. Cheers for that. What are you having? Mark, I'm on the pints already. Fancy one? My round. Me, go on then. I'll have a lager. So, how's things? You looked a bit stressed on the phone earlier. Mark, just been snowed under with work. But I'm forgetting about it now. Anyway, what about you? Still kicking that football around? Me, try to. Actually, I've twisted my ankle a bit, so I'm out of action for a couple weeks. Mark, oh, nightmare. You should get yourself down to that new physio on Main Street. Sorted my shoulder right out. Now, let's put on our detective hats. Did you hear the cultural slang? Nice one, for thank you or good job. Cheers for thanks. My round meaning it's his turn to buy drinks. Snowed under meaning extremely busy. Sorted my shoulder right out meaning fixed his shoulder completely. Listen for the connected speech and pronunciation. What are you having likely sounded like wadaya having, with the T in what blending into the R. Go on then was a quick, fluid acceptance. The sentence stress was clear, I'll have a lager. You looked a bit stressed. This rhythm carried the core meaning. And finally, notice the discourse markers and active listening. So, how's things, to steer the conversation? To create shared understanding. Anyway, to change the subject. Oh, nightmare, to show empathy and engagement. This is real English, in the wild. And now, you have the tools to not just hear it, but to understand it and to use it. And here we are. We started this journey with a moment of confusion in a London pub, feeling the sting of not understanding the real, living language. We've come a long way since then. We've equipped ourselves with the tools of a language detective, learning to look beyond the individual words to the context, the tone, and the intent. We've broken down the code of casual conversations, from ordering coffee to chatting with friends, uncovering the hidden meaning in idioms like doing my head in and the social function of phrases like I'm good, thanks. We faced the fear of getting lost and learned how to navigate back with grace using our clarification tools. We dove deep into the music of English, discovering the power of sentence stress, the lazy schwa, and the flowing river of connected speech. We learned to structure our thoughts and buy ourselves time with strategic discourse markers, and we practiced the art of active listening to become truly engaging conversationalists. We even braved the wide world of accents, understanding that flexibility, not perfection, is the goal. All of this leads to one final, empowering conclusion: the bridge across the intermediate gap is built by you, for you. It's constructed every time you listen to a song and pick out a new slang word, every time you watch a film without subtitles and catch the rhythm of a sentence, and every time you have a short, simple conversation where you truly connect with another person. This isn't the end of your journey, it's the beautiful beginning of you using English as a part of your life. You are no longer just a learner, you are a communicator. Keep listening, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep connecting. Thank you for listening. I need to tell you a secret, something that transformed my own language learning journey more than any grammar book or vocabulary list ever could. It's about a fundamental shift in perspective. For years, I saw every conversation as a test, a performance where I would be judged on my accuracy. This mindset was a cage. The key that unlocked it was this: I stopped viewing conversations as tests and started viewing them as laboratories. A laboratory is a place for experiments, for trial and error, for discovery. And in a laboratory, there are no failures, only results and learning opportunities. Think about the last time you made a mistake. Did you use the wrong preposition? Did you mix up your verb tenses? My question to you is, did the world end? Did the person you were speaking to suddenly stop understanding you? Probably not. In fact, most of the time, people are far more interested in what you are saying than how perfectly you are saying it. Our fear of mistakes is almost always a million times larger than the actual consequences of making one. I want you to reframe the very idea of a mistake. A mistake is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of growth. It is your brain identifying a gap in your knowledge, a fuzzy area that needs clarification. Every mistake is a priceless piece of data about your personal English learning process. Let me give you a powerful piece of data. A study on language acquisition found that learners who were encouraged to communicate and make mistakes showed significantly greater long-term fluency and creativity with the language than those who were constantly corrected and focused on accuracy from the beginning. Your brain needs the freedom to experiment, to play with the language, to try out new structures and see if they work. This is how you move from mechanically constructing sentences to spontaneously generating speech. So, here's your final, and perhaps most important, mission. I want you to go out and make a deliberate, glorious mistake. Use an idiom you're only 70% sure about. Try a new phrasal verb. Attempt a longer, more complex sentence than you usually would. And when you do it, pay attention. What happened? Did you get your point across? Did the conversation continue? I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, it will. And that one time it doesn't, you now have a crystal clear, context-rich memory of that phrase and its correct usage. That is a win. That is your laboratory in action. Stop performing and start experimenting. The freedom you will find is incredible. The theory is solid, I know. But how does this laboratory mindset actually look in a slightly more pressured, real-world situation? Let's step into a scenario that makes many intermediate learners break into a cold sweat, a workplace misunderstanding. This isn't about slang with friends, this is where you feel the stakes are higher, and the pressure to be precise can be paralyzing. But remember, even here, communication trumps perfection. Let me recreate a situation from my own life. I was in a meeting, and my manager was explaining a new process. She was speaking quickly, using acronyms I didn't know. The old me would have smiled, nodded, and spent the next hour in a state of panicked confusion. The new me, the one who treats conversations as laboratories, decided to experiment. I took a breath and used one of our most powerful tools. Audio sequence, the subtle sounds of a modern office, a keyboard clacking softly, a distant phone ringing. Manager, so we'll need the Q3 metrics for the PRD before the EOD. The KPI dashboard is mission critical for the stakeholder sync tomorrow. Me, okay, I want to make sure I get this right. Could you just clarify what the PRD refers to in this context? And just to confirm, EOD is end of day, correct? Manager, oh, of course. PRD is the product requirements document. And yes, end of day today. The key thing is the KPI dashboard, the key performance indicators. That's the top priority. Me, understood. So, my focus is to pull the Q3 data for the product requirements document and ensure the KPI dashboard is updated by the end of today. I'll get on that. Did you see what happened? I didn't say I don't understand. I framed my clarification as a desire for accuracy. I want to make sure I get this right. This is a collaborative, professional phrase. I then asked for a specific clarification on PRD and confirmed my understanding of EOD. Finally, I paraphrased the entire instruction back to her. This served two purposes: it solidified the information in my own mind, and it gave her a chance to correct any remaining misunderstandings. The experiment was a success. I gathered the data I needed, the meanings of the acronyms, and reinforced my reputation as a careful, engaged employee. The laboratory yielded a valuable result without a single moment of panic. This is the power of applying your tools with confidence, no matter the setting. Let's be honest. There are days when it feels incredibly difficult. You've been studying, you've been practicing, you've been brave in your laboratory, and then you hear a fast-paced conversation between native speakers and it just sounds like a waterfall of unintelligible sounds. In that moment, frustration is a completely normal and valid feeling. I've been there countless times. I want to pause our technical training for a moment and talk about the psychology of learning, because your mindset is the engine that drives everything else. The journey to fluency is not a straight, upward line. It's a series of peaks and valleys, of sudden breakthroughs and frustrating plateaus. This is completely normal. The plateau is where many learners give up, convinced they will never improve. But the plateau is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of consolidation. Your brain is busy organizing and internalizing all the new information you've been feeding it. It's like building a house: you don't see the progress every day, but the foundation is setting, the frame is being reinforced. Then, one day, seemingly out of nowhere, you'll find yourself understanding a joke, or using a phrase without thinking, and you'll have leaped forward to a new level. I want to give you a strategy to use on those difficult days. It's called tracking your tiny wins. We often focus on the big goal: I want to be fluent. But that goal is so vast and distant that it can feel unmoving. Instead, I want you to focus on the small, daily evidence that you are improving. Did you understand the main idea of a podcast without translating? That's a win. Did you successfully order a complicated coffee without a hitch? That's a win. Did you use a new idiom correctly, even if you hesitated? That's a massive win. Keep a small journal, mental or physical, and acknowledge these victories. My own turning point came when I stopped focusing on the mistakes I made in a conversation and started focusing on one thing I did well. Maybe my pronunciation was better, or I used a great linking word. This shift from a deficit-focused mindset to a growth-focused mindset was revolutionary. It transformed learning from a chore into a series of small, rewarding discoveries. Be your own best cheerleader. Acknowledge the effort, celebrate the tiny wins, and trust the process, especially on the days when it feels like you're standing still. You are always moving forward, even when you can't feel it. We've journeyed through the landscape of real English together, from the bustling coffee shop to the lively pub, from the quiet anxiety of misunderstanding to the confident clarity of connection. We've armed ourselves with an arsenal of tools, not just for speaking, but for listening, for thinking, and for being in the language. But a tool is only powerful if it's used. So, as we near the end of our time together today, I want to leave you with a simple, actionable plan. Not a daunting, 100-step program, but a sustainable, enjoyable ritual to weave your English practice into the fabric of your daily life. I call it the 15-minute daily immersion ritual. This is not about heavy grammar study. This is about maintenance and gradual, consistent exposure. Here's how it works. First, 5 minutes of active listening. On your commute, or while making coffee, listen to a short English podcast or a news clip. Don't just have it on in the background. Be a detective. Listen for one specific thing we've discussed, perhaps sentence stress, or 2 words that link together. Second, 5 minutes of reading aloud. Find a short article, a social media post, or even a song lyric. Read it aloud, focusing on your rhythm and pronunciation. Record yourself on your phone and listen back. You are your own best teacher. Finally, 5 minutes of conscious practice. This could be writing a few sentences in a journal, speaking to yourself in the mirror, or even having a short, imaginary conversation in your head. The key is production. This 15-minute ritual is your foundation. It keeps the engine warm. On top of this, I challenge you to 1 conversation laboratory per week. This is your time to experiment. It could be a language exchange, a chat with a colleague, or even ordering in English at a restaurant. Go in with a goal. Today, I will use the phrase "I'm good, thanks" to decline something, or today, I will ask 1 clarifying question. This focused, intentional practice is what bridges the gap between knowledge and ability. Remember the feeling of confusion in that London pub? That feeling is now your compass. It no longer points to failure, but to opportunity. Every time you feel a moment of uncertainty, you now have a map and the tools to navigate it. You have the power to understand the music, to decode the slang, and to connect with people on a deeper level. The journey doesn't end here, it simply evolves. You are now the director of your own learning. Keep your curiosity alive, be kind to yourself, and never, ever stop experimenting. You have everything you need. Go out and have your next conversation. I'll be right here, cheering you on. Let's talk about a situation that often feels like the final boss in a video game for English learners, the job interview. The stakes are high, the language is formal, and the pressure to perform can make even the most confident speaker's mind go blank. But what if I told you that the same principles we've been practicing, being a detective, using discourse markers, and active listening, are your secret weapons here too? The setting is more formal, but the human connection is just as important. I once prepared for an interview by memorizing perfect answers to 50 common questions. I was a robot programmed with textbook English. And when the interviewer asked me an unexpected question, my entire system crashed. I learned a vital lesson that day. They aren't just hiring a dictionary, they're hiring a person. They want to see how you think, how you handle pressure, and how you communicate. Your goal isn't to be flawless, it's to be clear, competent, and authentic. Let's break down a common interview question and a response that uses our tools effectively. The question: can you tell me about a time you faced a significant challenge at work and how you dealt with it? Now, listen to a response that uses strategic language. Audio sequence: a quiet, professional office setting. Candidate: that's a great question. Well, in my previous role, we were faced with a pretty tight deadline for a client project. Actually, it was more than tight, it was nearly impossible. So, the first thing I did was to break down the project into smaller, manageable tasks. I mean, you have to, right? Otherwise, it's just overwhelming. Anyway, I then coordinated with my team, delegating based on everyone's strengths. In the end, not only did we meet the deadline, but the client was extremely satisfied with the result. I suppose the key takeaway for me was the importance of clear planning under pressure. Did you hear the discourse markers at work? Well, to give myself a moment to think. Actually, to refine and emphasize the point. I mean to clarify and create a conversational tone. Anyway, to signal I'm returning to the main thread. And I suppose to softly introduce my conclusion. These words made the answer sound natural and considered, not rehearsed. They showed I was thinking in real time. Furthermore, I used a strong result. The client was extremely satisfied. This is more powerful than just saying we finished the project. So, in your next interview, don't try to eliminate these natural speech patterns. Embrace them strategically. Show them you can not only handle the language, but you can also handle the conversation. Of all the moments in my language learning journey, none was more profound than the day I realized I had been thinking in English. It wasn't a conscious decision. I was walking through the supermarket, making a mental shopping list, and the words in my head weren't in my native tongue. They were in English. I need milk, eggs, and, what was that other thing? Oh right, bread. This was the invisible summit I had been climbing towards without even knowing it. This shift from translation to direct thought is the ultimate liberation for an intermediate learner, and it's a skill you can actively cultivate. For years, my internal monologue was a frantic translation office. I would hear a question in English, my brain would convert it into my native language, formulate a response, and then translate that response back into English. It was slow, exhausting, and inefficient. The breakthrough came when I started forcing my brain to do its housekeeping in English. It felt artificial and silly at first, but it rewired my thinking. This is the final piece of the puzzle, creating an English-speaking environment inside your own mind. So, how do you practice this? Start small. When you're in the shower, name everything you're doing in English. I am washing my hair. The water is warm. When you're commuting, describe what you see. The man in the blue coat is running for the bus. The traffic is heavy today. This isn't about complex vocabulary, it's about basic, operational thinking. Another powerful exercise is to try and recall your day in English before you go to sleep. Today I went to work. I had a meeting with Sarah. We discussed the new project. Don't worry about perfection. The goal is to bypass the internal translator. This practice does something remarkable. It builds neural pathways directly between concepts and English words. The word apple no longer routes through the word for apple in your language, it connects directly to the image, the taste, the memory of an apple. This is why you suddenly start to dream in English, or why an English joke can make you laugh without you having to process it. You are not just learning the language, you are living it. And when that happens, fluency isn't a destination you arrive at, it's the air you breathe. It's the quiet, confident voice in your head that finally, wonderfully, sounds like you. You know that feeling when you've been working so hard, you're doing everything right, and then, nothing? Your progress seems to flatline. You're stuck. Welcome to the intermediate plateau. It's the place where beginner's gains are a distant memory and advanced fluency feels like a far-off dream. It's frustrating, it's demoralizing, and every single successful language learner has been stranded here at some point. I certainly was. But what if this plateau isn't a wall? What if it's simply a much-needed, gentle upward slope? The problem at the intermediate level is that your progress becomes less obvious. You're not learning the simple past tense for the first time anymore, you're fine-tuning the subtle difference between the past continuous and the past perfect. You're not learning 50 new nouns a week, you're learning 5 phrasal verbs that each have 7 different meanings. The growth is happening, but it's deeper, more nuanced, and harder to measure. This is the time when most people give up. But this is also the time when you must learn to trust the process more than ever. I want you to change your measure of success. Instead of measuring by the number of new words learned, measure by the number of times you successfully understand a joke. Or the number of times you hear a phrase on a TV show and think, "Hey, I know that one." Or the moment you automatically use a discourse marker like "well" or "actually" without having to think about it. These are the tiny, significant victories of the intermediate plateau. They are the proof that the language is moving from your conscious mind to your subconscious, where it truly belongs. To move across this plateau, you need a new strategy. It's not about studying harder, it's about studying smarter. This is the perfect time to fall in love with the language again. Watch a series you enjoy, not with the goal of studying, but with the goal of enjoying the story. Listen to music and look up the lyrics to understand the poetry. Read a book in a genre you love. You have the foundations, now it's about adding the decoration, the color, the passion. The plateau is your invitation to stop being just a student and start being a user, a connoisseur, a lover of the language. Embrace the slow climb. The view from the next peak is worth it. There is a question that lies beneath every vocabulary list, every grammar drill, every hesitant conversation we have. It's the why. Why are we doing this? Why are we spending hours of our lives listening to podcasts, stumbling through conversations, and feeling the frustration of the plateau? For a long time, my why was transactional: to get a job, to pass an exam, to order food correctly. But that kind of why will only fuel you so far. To truly sustain the journey, you need to discover a deeper why. You need to find the version of yourself that exists on the other side of fluency. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine it. Not just understanding the words, but understanding the people. Imagine laughing at a joke not because you translated it, but because you genuinely found it funny. Imagine sharing a complex opinion about a book or a film and seeing the other person nod in genuine agreement. Imagine comforting a friend in English, your words offering real solace. This isn't just about language acquisition anymore, it's about identity expansion. It's about adding a new room to the house of your mind, a room where a more nuanced, more connected version of you can live. This deeper why transforms the journey. Studying is no longer a chore, it's an act of becoming. That difficult conversation is no longer a test, it's a rehearsal for your future self. When your why is powerful enough, the how becomes effortless. You'll find yourself naturally seeking out English content not because you have to, but because you're curious about the world that this language unlocks. You'll start to see English not as a subject to be mastered, but as a lens through which to see a broader, more interconnected world. So, I invite you to ask yourself today, what is your deeper why? Is it to read your favorite author in the original text? Is it to understand the cultural references in the movies you love? Is it to build a friendship with someone from the other side of the world? Find that vision. Write it down. Keep it close. On the days when the motivation wanes and the plateau feels endless, that deeper why will be the compass that guides you forward. It will remind you that you are not just learning a language. You are building a bridge to a larger life. And so we arrive here, at the end of this particular conversation, but as you now know, it is never truly the end. It is a comma, a pause, a moment to reflect before the next beautiful, messy, and real conversation begins. When I started this podcast, I began with a story of confusion, of feeling lost in a London pub. I want to end with a different story from that very same pub, one that happened just a few months ago. I was with a group of friends, the conversation was flying fast, full of jokes and idioms and cultural references, and I wasn't just following along, I was in the flow. I made a joke, and everyone laughed. A real, genuine laugh. In that moment, I wasn't a language learner, I was just a person, connecting with other people. That is the destination we have been working towards all along. Not a certificate, not a test score, but that feeling of effortless connection. You have armed yourself with more than just phrases, you have a new mindset. You are a language detective, curious and analytical. You are a scientist in your own laboratory, unafraid of experiments. You are an active listener, building bridges of understanding. You understand the music of stress and rhythm, and you know how to navigate the currents of connected speech. Remember, the goal was never to eliminate your accent or to know every single word in the dictionary. The goal was always to become an effective communicator. To share your ideas, your personality, and your humor with the world. You have all the tools you need now. The rest is practice. The rest is living. So, go out there. Have those conversations. Make those glorious mistakes. Listen to the rhythm of the world speaking English, and know that you are now a part of that rhythm. This isn't goodbye. It's just me, stepping aside and cheering you on as you continue your own unique and incredible journey. You've got this. Thank you for listening.
My heart was pounding like a drum, a frantic rhythm against my ribs. I was in a room full of strangers, their faces a blur of polite smiles, when the moment I had been secretly dreading finally arrived. The person next to me turned, looked me directly in the eyes, and asked the simplest, most terrifying question in the English language. "So, tell me about yourself." My mind went completely, utterly blank. If you've ever felt that cold wave of panic, that fear of not knowing what to say or how to say it, then you understand why I'm here today. This isn't just a podcast, it's a lifeline. I'm going to walk you through step by step how to master that question so you never feel that fear again. Welcome to a new chapter of your English journey. Hello, a warm and enthusiastic welcome back to the English Dictionary, the one place where mastering the English language is not just a goal, but an enjoyable and truly rewarding adventure. I am your host, Carol, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here with you today.
Hello, Carol. Hello to all our wonderful listeners out there. It is genuinely fantastic to be back in this space with all of you. It is a true pleasure.
Hi, Bob. How are you feeling on this fine day?
I am feeling absolutely wonderful. Thank you for asking. And how about you? You have a particularly bright and energetic glow about you today.
I truly am filled with happiness today. I am incredibly excited and passionate about the subject we are going to explore together in this episode.
Oh, yes, I completely agree. It is a profoundly useful and significant topic for anyone navigating the English-speaking world.
Yes, exactly. It is a foundational piece of social interaction. But before we dive headfirst into our main discussion, we have a very important request for our incredible community.
That's right. Everyone, please, if you have not yet done so, make sure to subscribe to our channel. It is the best way to never miss a single piece of valuable content.
And please, if you would be so kind, click that like button and share our podcast with your friends, your family, or anyone you know who is on their own path to learning English. Your support makes a real and tangible difference for us. It enables us to continue creating this content for you.
It truly, truly does. Your engagement is the fuel that keeps us going. Okay then. So, Bob, are you fully prepared and ready to begin?
I am 100% ready and eager to start.
So, without any further delay, what is the central topic of our conversation today?
Today, we are focusing all of our attention on that incredibly common yet often daunting question, tell me about yourself.
Ah, of course. That is a question you will encounter constantly, a real staple of daily conversation. People will ask you this all the time. It happens when you join a new class, when you start a new job, when you're introduced to new people at a social gathering. It is absolutely everywhere.
It is so true. And sometimes, even if you have an idea, it can be surprisingly difficult to know precisely what to say, how much to say, or what the appropriate level of detail is for that specific situation.
Yes, that uncertainty is very common. So today we are going to break it down completely. We will make this process easy, manageable, and even fun for you.
That sounds absolutely perfect. A clear, structured approach is exactly what is needed. So, who would you like to begin this demonstration, you or me?
How about you take the lead and start us off? Bob, tell me about yourself.
Okay. It is my turn to go first. Now, where should I begin? Let us start with the simplest and most straightforward point of information. What is your name?
Okay, my name is Bob. That is B-O-B. It is a pleasure to formally meet you, Bob.
And my name is Carol. It is very nice to meet you as well, Carol.
So the next logical question, where are you originally from?
Ooh, that is an excellent question. I am from Canada, a beautiful and vast country known for its friendly people and stunning natural landscapes.
Canada. Wow, that is fantastic. I am from the United States, a nation of great diversity and opportunity.
The United States, very cool. Our countries are neighbors, which is quite wonderful. Do you currently live in a large, bustling city?
No, I actually live in a rather small, quiet town. I personally prefer it that way. It is peaceful and calm, and I genuinely enjoy the sense of community.
What about you, Carol? Where do you call home?
I live in a major, densely populated city. It is always vibrant, constantly busy, and can be quite noisy, but I have grown to love its dynamic energy and the endless possibilities it offers.
That is truly great. A serene small town and a hectic big city. Our living situations are quite different, showcasing two common ways of life.
Yes, they are indeed very different, yet both have their own unique charms and advantages. And do you reside in a house or an apartment?
I live in a house. It is not a large house, but it is cozy and it has a wonderful little garden in the back where I like to spend my time.
A garden. I absolutely love gardens. They are such tranquil, beautiful spaces. I live in an apartment building. It is my own personal space in the sky.
Is it a spacious apartment?
No, it is actually a rather compact apartment, but it is very comfortable and well organized. I have made it my own, and I like it a great deal.
Good, good. It is important to be happy with your home. Okay, so we have successfully covered your name, your national origin, and your current living situation. What should we explore next?
How about we discuss age? Bob, if you're comfortable sharing, of course, it is perfectly okay if you prefer not to.
I am 28 years old.
28, okay, a fine age. And you, Carol, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 25 years old.
25, a very vibrant and wonderful age to be.
Thank you. I like to think so as well. I am enjoying this stage of my life immensely. Okay, so now for a significantly more substantial question, one that people often ask to understand your professional life.
I am ready and prepared. What do you do for a living, Bob? What is your profession?
I am a teacher. It is my vocation and my passion.
A teacher, of course. That makes perfect sense. You are a dedicated English teacher here on our very own English Dictionary channel.
Yes, exactly. I am an English language teacher. I have a deep and abiding love for my job. It is incredibly fulfilling to help others learn and grow.
That is truly wonderful. It is a noble and profoundly important profession.
Thank you. It is a privilege. What about you, Carol? What is it that you do?
I am currently a student, fully immersed in my academic pursuits.
A student. That is excellent. What is your specific field of study?
I study art, focusing on various techniques and art history. I have a deep-seated love for drawing and painting. It is my primary mode of creative expression.
Wow, art. That is so incredibly cool and interesting. It requires a great deal of talent and vision.
Do you enjoy your studies and the academic environment?
Yes, I love it with all my heart. It is endlessly fun, stimulating, and allows me to express my creativity in new ways every single day.
I can absolutely see that. Your passion is evident. An ambitious art student and a passionate English teacher. We make a rather perfect team for hosting this particular podcast, do we not?
I love it. It is a wonderful combination of skills and perspectives.
Okay, let us take a moment to see what we have compiled so far. We have your name, your place of origin, your age, and your professional occupation. What other aspects of our lives can we discuss to provide a more complete picture?
Let us talk about family. Family is a universal and deeply meaningful topic for almost everyone.
Okay, family is a fantastic and rich topic for conversation. Do you have any brothers or sisters, Carol?
Yes, I certainly do. I have one brother.
What is his name?
His name is Tom.
Tom. Is he older than you or younger than you?
He is my older brother. He is currently 29 years old.
Oh, so he is one single year older than I am. We are very close in age.
Yes, exactly. We grew up together and have always been very close.
What about you, Bob? Do you have any brothers or sisters in your family?
I have one sister that is the entirety of my immediate sibling group.
What is her name?
Her name is Sarah.
Sarah. That is a truly beautiful and classic name.
Is she your older sister or your younger sister?
She is younger than I am. She is also a student, much like you, pursuing her own academic dreams.
Oh, really? That is a wonderful coincidence. What is her specific area of study?
She studies music with a particular focus on classical piano. She plays the piano beautifully and has been practicing for many years.
Wow, a dedicated music student and a passionate art student. Your family must be a very creative and artistically inclined household.
Yes, that is an accurate assessment. The creativity runs in the family. My mother, for instance, is a published writer of short stories and novels.
A writer, that is absolutely amazing. What a talented family. It must be a very inspiring environment.
And your father, what is his profession?
My father is a medical doctor. He works at the local hospital and is deeply committed to helping his patients.
A doctor. Wow, that is a highly respected and demanding profession. You have a very impressive and accomplished family, Bob.
Thank you, Carol. I am very proud of each and every one of them. Carol, please tell me about your own parents. What do they do for their careers?
My mother is also a teacher, just like you. She specializes in teaching very young children in elementary school.
Oh, that is such a vital and important job. Shaping young minds is a tremendous responsibility and a gift.
Wonderful. Yes, she finds it very rewarding. And my father is a professional chef. He is the head chef at a very well-regarded restaurant in the city.
A chef, that is an incredible profession. Does he ever cook for you and your family at home?
Yes, whenever he has the time and energy, he cooks for us. The food is always exceptionally delicious and creatively prepared. We are very lucky.
I must admit, I am a little bit jealous. That is so incredibly cool. To have a personal chef in the family is a dream come true.
So we have now covered the important topic of family. This gives a great sense of our background and roots.
Now, how about we discuss pets? Many people consider their pets to be part of their family, and it's a very common and friendly topic.
Pets. Yes, I absolutely adore pets. They bring so much joy and companionship. Do you have a pet, Bob?
Yes, I certainly do. I have a dog. He is a wonderful companion.
A dog. I love dogs. They're so loyal and full of personality. What is his name?
His name is Max. He is an exceptionally friendly and very funny character. He always makes me laugh with his antics.
Oh, Max. That is a strong and lovely name for a dog. What color is his fur?
He is a beautiful, warm shade of brown. He is a small, brown, perpetually happy dog. His tail is always wagging.
That sounds unbelievably cute and endearing. I would very much like to meet Max one day. He sounds like a delightful little creature.
I love the idea. Maybe one day we can arrange that.
Do you have a pet of your own, Carol?
Yes, I do. I have a cat. She is my quiet companion.
A cat. See, our preferences are different once again. A devoted dog person and a dedicated cat person. It is a classic divide.
It is very true. Our pet choices reflect our different personalities. Her name is Luna. I named her after the moon because of her calm presence.
Luna. That is a lovely, poetic, and beautiful name for a cat. It suits her perfectly. What does she look like? Can you describe her?
She is primarily black with distinctive white patches on her paws and her chest. She is a very quiet, calm, and incredibly sleepy animal. She enjoys her naps more than anything.
A sleepy cat.
That sounds perfectly normal and very typical for a feeling.
Yes, she sleeps for the majority of the day. It seems like a very peaceful and simple life from her perspective.
It certainly is a good life for a cat. They have mastered the art of relaxation.
Okay, so we know a considerable amount about each other now, which is the whole point of this exercise. We have covered name, age, profession, family background, pets. These are all core components of one's identity.
Now, let us transition to talking about our personal preferences, the things we genuinely like, our favorite things. This is where personality really shines through.
Good idea. This is undoubtedly the fun and engaging part of any introduction. It makes you memorable. Let us start with something universal. Food. Everyone has an opinion on food.
Yes, food is a fantastic starting point. Okay, Bob, the floor is yours. What is your absolute favorite food?
This is a surprisingly difficult question for me because I enjoy a wide variety of different foods. It is hard to choose just one.
Just choose one that you crave most often or that brings you the most immediate comfort.
Okay, I will. I think my definitive favorite food, the one I could eat almost any day, is pizza. It is a perfect food, in my opinion.
Pizza. A truly magnificent and universally loved choice. I also have a deep appreciation for a good pizza. It is a culinary masterpiece.
What kind of pizza or what specific toppings you typically prefer on your pizza?
I am particularly fond of a well-made vegetable pizza, loaded with fresh tomatoes, colorful bell peppers, and savory onions. It is flavorful and feels somewhat wholesome.
That sounds both healthy and utterly delicious, a great combination of taste and nutrition. For me, I tend to prefer a classic pepperoni pizza. It is a timeless and reliable choice.
A true classic. You can never go wrong with that. It's a crowd pleaser.
Good choice. So is pizza also your number one favorite food, or do you have a different ultimate favorite?
It is absolutely one of my top favorites. It resides in my top 3, but my undisputed number 1 favorite food of all time is pasta, in all its wonderful shapes and forms.
Pasta is another spectacularly good choice. It is so versatile and comforting, very yummy.
Yes, I love it. I could eat it every single day and never grow tired of it.
Okay, let us move on to the next favorite thing. This is about color. What is your favorite color, the one that always catches your eye?
My favorite color is unequivocally blue. It's the color of a clear, peaceful sky on a perfect summer day. It's calming and serene.
Blue is a very popular, nice, and profoundly calm color. I like it a great deal. It conveys trust and stability.
Thank you. I find it very soothing. What is your own favorite color, Carol?
My favorite color is green, without a doubt. It is the color of life itself.
Green, like the lush, vibrant leaves on the trees and the rich grass in a beautiful garden. It represents nature and growth.
Exactly. I've always loved the fresh and revitalizing color of nature. It makes me feel grounded and at peace.
That is truly beautiful. A serene blue sky and a vibrant green landscape. They are a perfect combination, complementing each other wonderfully.
It is. They're the colors of our beautiful world.
Okay, what should we explore next from our list of favorites? I think favorite animal is a common and enjoyable topic.
Oh, this is exceptionally easy for me to answer. My favorite animal is, without any question, a dog. It is a simple and clear choice.
Of course. I knew you would say that. It is perfectly logical.
I know. It's because of my deep bond with Max, my own dog. Dogs are just so remarkably loyal, unconditionally friendly, and full of positive energy. I love them with all my heart.
What about you? Is your favorite animal a cat, given your companionship with Luna?
Yes, indeed. I love cats deeply. They are so elegantly graceful, beautifully independent, and wonderfully mysterious creatures. They have a unique charm.
Elegant. That is a perfectly chosen and accurate word to describe cats. They carry themselves with a natural poise.
They truly are. They move with a quiet confidence I admire.
Okay, let us smoothly move on to our hobbies and personal interests. Hobbies are the activities we do purely for enjoyment and personal fulfillment outside of our work or studies.
Hobbies, the things we do for fun and personal satisfaction. This is a great topic that reveals a lot about a person's character. What are your primary hobbies, Carol?
Well, as you know, I am an art student, so my most prominent hobby, which also overlaps with my studies, is painting. It's my greatest passion.
Of course. Do you paint very frequently?
Yes, I make it a point to paint every single weekend without fail. It's my dedicated creative time. It helps me to decompress, relax, and process my thoughts and emotions. It's a form of meditation for me.
I also have a strong fondness for reading books. I am an avid reader.
Reading is a truly fantastic and enriching hobby. It expands your mind and vocabulary. What kind of books or genres do you typically prefer to read?
I have a particular love for storybooks, especially long, immersive narratives. Adventure stories are my absolute favorite genre. I love being transported to another world.
Adventure stories. How exciting and thrilling that must be. The sense of journey and discovery.
It really is. There is nothing quite like getting lost in a great adventure novel. What about you, Bob? What are the hobbies that you enjoy in your spare time?
I have a few different hobbies that I rotate between. I have a deep and abiding love for listening to music. It is a constant in my life.
What kind of music do you most frequently listen to? What are your preferred genres?
I have a strong preference for rock music, specifically the classic rock music from previous decades. There is a raw energy and storytelling in it that I connect with.
Ah, very cool. That is a genre with a lot of history and passion. And what other activities do you enjoy besides listening to music?
I also like to play sports to stay active and socialize. I play a friendly game of soccer with a group of my friends every single Saturday morning. It is a great tradition.
Soccer. You are clearly a very active and physically engaged person. That is wonderful for your health and well-being.
I do try my best to be. It is genuinely fun to run around, get some exercise, and enjoy the camaraderie and friendly competition with my friends.
That is truly great. A wonderful way to build community. So you clearly enjoy sports. Do you also like to watch movies as a form of relaxation and entertainment?
Yes, I absolutely love watching movies. It is one of my favorite ways to unwind in the evening. I have a particular soft spot for comedy movies above all other genres. I profoundly love to laugh. It is the best medicine.
Me too. Laughing is truly the best feeling in the world. It is instantly uplifting. I also enjoy comedy movies, but I have a special affection for animated movies as well. The artistry in them is breathtaking.
Animated movies are truly great. They are not just for children. They offer sophisticated stories and incredible visual artistry.
Yes, they're so beautiful to watch and are often filled with powerful imagination and heart.
This is all really great information. We are learning such a vast amount about each other's lives, preferences, and personalities through this structured conversation.
I know. It is almost as if we are actively demonstrating how to answer the "tell me about yourself" prompt in real time, right here and now for our listeners.
Yes, we are. We are providing a very long, detailed, and comprehensive answer. A very, very long answer indeed, but it shows the depth of information you can eventually share as you get to know someone.
Let us pause and think about what other categories we might have missed. We could also briefly touch upon things we do not like. This can also be very revealing and can create a point of connection or friendly debate.
Oh, that is an interesting and often overlooked angle. Okay, let us try that. It is good to be balanced. What is a specific food that you do not like, Bob? Something you would prefer to avoid?
A food I genuinely do not like. Let me think carefully for a moment. I have a strong dislike for olives. I have never acquired a taste for them.
Olives? Really? That is surprising to me. I personally like olives quite a bit. You see, we are different once again in our tastes. It is what makes conversations interesting.
I simply do not care for their unique briny taste. It's just not for my palate.
What about you? Is there a specific food that you actively dislike?
Yes, there certainly is. I have a very low tolerance for intensely spicy food. Food that is extremely hot, I cannot handle it well. My palate is just not built for it.
Oh, I see. I understand completely. For me, a little bit of spice is okay and can be enjoyable, but when it becomes very, very spicy to the point of being painful, then it is a firm no, thank you, from me as well.
Exactly. There is a fine line between flavorful heat and overwhelming fire.
Okay, what about an activity or a situation that you do not like? Something that bothers you?
An activity or situation I do not like. I have a strong aversion to waiting in long, slow-moving lines. It feels like such a waste of precious time.
Does anyone in the world actually like that? I sincerely doubt it. I don't think so. It's just so monotonous and frustrating.
I am in full agreement. I do not like that experience either. It tries my patience. I also have a strong dislike for having to wake up very early in the morning, especially when it is still dark outside. I find it physically difficult.
Are you telling me you are not a morning person? You do not enjoy the early hours of the day?
No, not at all. I'm a night owl through and through. I like my sleep and I value my restful nights. My brain and body do not function while at dawn.
I understand that feeling completely. Sleeping is a very important and necessary part of life for health and happiness. We should not feel guilty about needing rest.
So, you see, this is another excellent and valid way to describe yourself and your personality. You can openly state what you like and what you do not like. It adds depth and authenticity.
Yes, that is a very good and practical point. It shows your character and your individual quirks. For a simple, effective example, you could say, "Hello, my name is Bob. I'm a teacher by profession. I generally like dogs and I love eating pizza, but I have a strong dislike for olives and I try to avoid them."
That is a fantastic, concise, and personal introduction. It's memorable. Similarly, I could say, "Hi, my name is Carol. I'm a student. I love cats and I adore eating pasta, but I have a great distaste for having to wake up very early in the morning." It is honest and relatable.
Perfect. It's simple, it's clear, and most importantly, it's friendly and approachable. It invites further questions.
I truly believe we have successfully covered a very wide range of topics now. Let us recap. We discussed name, origin, residence, age, job, family members, pets, hobbies, favorite things, and even a few dislikes. Wow, that is a very comprehensive and good list for anyone preparing to answer, "Tell me about yourself."
You certainly do not need to say every single one of these things all at once in one giant breath. That would be overwhelming for everyone involved.
Oh, no, of course not. That is an essential tip. You must choose and curate your information based on the context.
You can selectively choose what feels most relevant. Maybe you just say your name and your current job if the context is professional.
Yes, or in a casual setting, you might just say your name and your main hobby to find common ground. It all depends entirely on the specific social situation.
If you are in a new English class, for instance, maybe you say, "My name is your name. I am from your country. I am here to learn English because I like to learn new things and connect with people from around the world." It is directly relevant.
Exactly. It is tailored to the environment. And if you're at a casual party or social gathering, you can say something like, "Hi, I'm Carol. It is lovely to meet you. I love to paint in my free time and I am passionate about listening to all kinds of music."
It is a friendly and open-ended start.
That is a truly great way to initiate a conversation and build a connection. The other person can then naturally ask a follow-up question, such as, "Oh, what do you like to paint?" or "What kind of music are you into?" And just like that, a new dialogue begins and potentially a new friendship is formed.
It all begins with that one simple, powerful invitation. Tell me about yourself. It is the gateway to human connection.
It really does. It does not have to be a scary or intimidating question at all. When you reframe it, it is simply an open invitation. An invitation to share a little piece of your story, a small fragment of your world with another person. It is a gift of trust.
That is a truly beautiful and positive way to think about it. It transforms the experience from an interrogation into a sharing moment.
I think it has been an absolute pleasure to learn more about the details of your life, Bob. It has made me feel much closer to you as a colleague and a friend.
The feeling is entirely mutual, Carol. I have learned that you are a dedicated art student who has a profound love for pasta and the color green, and that you share your home with a wonderfully sleepy cat named Luna.
And I've learned that you are a passionate teacher who loves pizza in the color blue, and that you have a fantastically friendly dog named Max. It has been a wonderfully successful and enlightening conversation.
Yes, it has been both enjoyable and informative, and I sincerely hope it was equally helpful and illuminating for all of our dedicated listeners who are tuning in.
I certainly hope so too. Please remember you can actively use these simple structured sentences and categories to talk about your own life with confidence.
Yes, do not be afraid. The key is to keep it simple, be authentic, and maintain a friendly and open demeanor. That is the most important part of all.
That is the perfect golden advice for anyone learning to navigate social interactions in a new language.
A warm, genuine smile is also very important, even if you are on the phone or feeling nervous. It changes the tone of your voice. Always remember to smile.
Always, it is a universal language of kindness. Well, I think our time is almost up today. It has passed so quickly.
Wow, it is true what they say. Time seems to move faster when you are genuinely having fun and engaged in the stimulating conversation.
It really does. This was a truly great and productive chat, full of practical value.
It certainly was. So, before we officially conclude, we want to ask our amazing and supportive listeners for a small but meaningful favor.
That is absolutely right. If you enjoyed this episode and found our discussion useful, please consider subscribing to our channel, English Dictionary, with the notification bell activated.
And please, if you would, give this specific episode a big thumbs up, a like. It is a simple gesture that has a significant impact.
It really does help other people who are on a similar learning journey to discover our podcast and benefit from our content. The algorithm notices your support.
And please, please share this episode with anyone and everyone you know who is currently learning English or who might be interested in starting. We have a genuine desire to help as many people as we possibly can to achieve their language goals.
And now for our question of the day, specifically designed for you to practice what you've learned today.
Yes, we warmly invite you to go to the comment section directly below this video or episode description and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can write just 1 or 2 sentences to start. There is no pressure.
For example, you could write, my name is, your name, I am from, your country, or I like my hobby, or my favorite food is your food. You can share anything you feel comfortable with. We are genuinely interested.
We would absolutely love to read your comments and learn a little bit about who you are and where you're from. It will be so much fun for us to connect with you on a more personal level.
Yes, it will create a wonderful sense of community here. Thank you all so very much for listening today and for dedicating your time to improving your English with us.
Thank you all. It has been an immense pleasure and a privilege to share this time with you.
Stay safe, stay curious, and please keep practicing. Consistency is the key to mastery.
We will be back again very soon with another fun, engaging, and informative episode to guide you further on your path. Until then, take care and keep speaking.
Goodbye for now, everyone.
Bye, everyone. It was wonderful.
Bye, Carol. Until next time.
My heart was pounding, a frantic drum against my ribs, as I stood frozen in a room full of people. A simple, friendly question had been tossed my way. So tell me about your day. And my mind? It went completely
utterly blank. It was a wall of white noise, a terrifying silence where my English vocabulary should have been. If you've ever felt that icy grip of panic when trying to speak, if you've ever desperately searched for the simplest words to describe the most ordinary moments, then you are exactly where you need to be. Welcome. I'm Carol, and this is our shared journey to fluency.
And I'm Bob. What Carol is describing, that fear, is a universal experience for language learners. But what if we told you that the key to unlocking your confidence isn't found in complex grammar books or endless vocabulary lists, but in the very fabric of your everyday life? The story of your day, from the moment you wake up to the second you fall asleep, is the most powerful, personalized textbook you will ever own. This narrative is your secret weapon. Today, we are going to meticulously dismantle that wall of fear, brick by brick, and rebuild it into a bridge of simple, powerful, and incredibly effective English. We will transform your daily routine from a silent movie in your head into a compelling story you can share with anyone, anywhere. The importance of this skill cannot be overstated. Your daily life is a continuous, unfolding opportunity to practice English. Think about the most common social interactions. They are built on the foundation of sharing our everyday experiences. When a colleague asks, "How was your day?" or a new friend inquires, "What do you usually do in the morning?" These are not just polite gestures. They are invitations to connect, to build a relationship. And if you have practiced the narrative of your own life, you will not freeze. You will not feel that familiar surge of anxiety. Instead, you will be prepared. You will have a ready arsenal of sentences, a pre-built toolbox of phrases that you can pull from effortlessly. This practice does more than just prepare you for conversation. It fundamentally changes how you sound. It injects a natural flow and a genuine confidence into your speech that makes you feel not like a student, but like a communicator.
The transformation begins not with a ground complex statement, but with the simplest of moments, the first conscious thought of the morning. For me, that moment is defined by a sound, a persistent, piercing beep that cuts through the fog of sleep. My alarm clock rings with a fierce determination at exactly 7 a.m. I will be completely honest with you. There is rarely a morning where I spring out of bed filled with joy. More often, I lie there for a few seconds, my mind protesting, wishing desperately for just a few more minutes of precious rest. But then, the discipline kicks in. I sit up in my bed, I stretch my arms high above my head, and I say those two little words out loud. Okay, go. It is a small command to myself, a signal that the day has officially begun.
I can so deeply relate to that entire scene, Carol. My own morning ritual shares a similar struggle. My alarm goes off even earlier at 6:30 a.m., and my first thought is almost always a negotiation with myself. Just 5 more minutes, I plead silently. But as we all know, those 5 minutes have a magical way of transforming into 20. It is a dangerous game to play. But eventually, I muster the willpower and I get out of bed. My feet touch the cool floor and I begin. The very first thing I do without fail is walk to the bathroom to brush my teeth and wash my face. That sensation of cool water on my skin is the first true step toward wakefulness for me. Immediately after that, I take a shower. The warm water cascading down feels like it is washing away the last remnants of sleep. It is more than just getting clean. For me, it's like pressing a giant restart button on my entire system.
Yes, that restart button analogy is perfect, Bob. The shower is absolutely essential for my mental preparation. After I step out and dry off, I feel clean, I feel fresh, and most importantly, I feel ready to face whatever the day has in store. The next destination is inevitable. The kitchen. Breakfast time is a sacred ritual for me. My usual choice is quite simple. A slice of bread with a little butter and some sweet jam. Sometimes, if I'm feeling particularly motivated, I'll scramble a couple of eggs. And on the weekends, as a special treat, I might even make a small stack of pancakes. But the true non-negotiable element, the cornerstone of my entire morning, is coffee. I am not exaggerating when I say that coffee is my best friend in the morning. That first, rich, aromatic sip is pure fuel.
It is fascinating how our routines can be both similar and so different. My own morning breakfast is often even more simple than yours. Typically, I just have a cup of hot tea and a single piece of toast. However, on those mornings when I wake up feeling especially hungry, I'll pour myself a bowl of cereal with cold milk. It's quick, it's easy, and it does the job. Now, let's pause here for a moment and consider what we have just done. We have described a complete morning sequence using the most fundamental English sentences. I brush my teeth. I take a shower. I eat bread. I drink coffee. I drink tea. These are not complex phrases. But when you intentionally string them together in this sequence, you are no longer just listing actions. You are telling a story. You're narrating a chapter of your life.
You've hit on the most critical point, Bob. It's the power of sequencing simple blocks to build a complex narrative. And after the breakfast chapter concludes, the next part of the story begins, preparing for the world outside. For me, this involves choosing my clothes for the day and putting them on. Then I do a final check of my bag to ensure I have everything I need. I have a little mental checklist that I run through every single morning. Lights off, wallet, phone, keys. I visually confirm each item is in its place. Only when this ritual is complete do I feel prepared to say goodbye to my home and step outside the front door.
My process is very similar. I get dressed and I always do a quick check in the mirror. Not out of vanity, but just to make sure I look presentable and that my hair isn't doing something crazy. Then I meticulously prepare my things for the day. I pack my laptop into its bag, I fill my water bottle, and I often include a small snack like an apple or a granola bar. But my most crucial step, born from a very painful lesson, is the key check. I double check, sometimes even triple check that I have my keys. Because there was one unforgettable time when I left my keys inside my apartment and locked the door behind me. I was completely locked out.
Oh no, Bob, really? That sounds like an absolute nightmare.
It was so embarrassing. I had to call a locksmith and wait for an hour outside my own door. I felt so foolish. Since that day, the key check has been permanently engraved into my morning routine. It is a non-negotiable step. Finally, after all these preparations are complete, I open the door, take a deep, steadying breath of the outside air, and I say to myself, all right, let's go. And that single action, crossing the threshold of my home, marks the true beginning of the outside day. It is the moment the internal world of my morning routine collides with the external world of responsibilities and interactions.
And since we are guiding you through the story of your day, it only seems fair that we pull back the curtain a little on our own lives. A small secret about the two of us, something many of our listeners might not know, is that our professional lives are deeply rooted in the world of technology. We both work as software engineers.
That is correct. This means that a significant portion of our day is spent in front of computer screens, completely immersed in the language of code. We write new instructions for computers, we troubleshoot and fix problems that inevitably arise, and yes, we spend a considerable amount of time just scratching our heads when a piece of code refuses to work as intended.
Oh yes, a lot of head scratching indeed. It can be incredibly frustrating at times, but it is also immensely fun and rewarding. There's a unique satisfaction in solving a complex problem, in building something functional from nothing, and in collaborating with our colleagues to create something together. And here's another interesting layer to our story. We actually work for the same company. In fact, that is exactly how our friendship began. We were colleagues first, and that shared experience forged our bond. Now, you might be listening to this and thinking, but wait a minute, you have this podcast. When do you possibly find the time to record these episodes? That is an excellent question. The truth is, we usually record on the weekends. It is when we have the most quiet and uninterrupted time. Sometimes, if we are still feeling energetic and inspired, we might record for a little while after our regular workday ends.
Exactly. This podcast is our passion project. It's something we both genuinely love doing outside the scope of our regular jobs. It gives us a creative outlet and a way to connect with all of you in a completely different way.
So, to summarize, we work together as engineers during the day, and then we come here to this studio to share our stories and our language learning insights with you. We are best friends at work and best friends on the microphone.
And speaking of our workday, there is one more universal experience we must discuss, a hurdle we both have to face every morning after we are fully prepared and before we even reach the comfort of our office desks. This hurdle is known as the commute, that often dreaded journey from the comfort of home to the demands of work.
Ah, yes, the commute. For me, this journey is undertaken by car. I'm the one behind the wheel every day navigating the streets.
Listen to that, everyone. Miss VIP with her own private car. Meanwhile, I travel like a regular human being. I take the bus.
VIP? No way. Do not let him fool you. Driving is not a luxury. It is a source of constant stress. You have to deal with traffic jams that test your patience, the incessant honking of horns that grates on your nerves, and then the final challenge of finding a parking spot, which is a complete nightmare all on its own.
Okay, that is a fair point. I will admit that driving in the city can be stressful. But let me assure you, the bus is not exactly a paradise on wheels either. There are mornings when it is so incredibly crowded that I can't find a seat. I have to stand the entire way, holding onto an overhead rail for stability, swaying left and right with the movement of the vehicle, still half asleep and feeling like a complete zombie.
That does sound both hilarious and miserable. And this right here is the exact type of everyday English you can practice and use. Simple descriptive sentences like, I drive my car to work. I take the bus. The commute is very stressful. The bus is always crowded in the morning. Some days it's convenient, but many days it's utterly exhausting.
Precisely. These are not complex literary phrases. They are simple, truthful sentences that make your story relatable and real. They paint a vivid picture of your experience. And after the commute chapter concludes, the next significant part of the day's narrative begins, work itself.
Yes, work. I finally reach the office, settle into my chair, and open my laptop. The very first thing that greets me is my email inbox. It is always full, a seemingly endless list of messages waiting for my attention.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well. The emails truly never end. It can feel overwhelming at first glance. My personal strategy is to take a deep breath and tell myself, okay, Bob, don't panic, just take them one at a time. After I've managed the initial flood of emails, I usually move on to check my task list for the day. This can involve a variety of things. Sometimes my primary task is writing new code, building a new feature from the ground up. Other times, my day is dominated by fixing bugs, which are like little errors or problems in existing code. And then there are the days filled with preparing for and attending meetings. It's a real mix, right?
It really is. Some days the weight of the tasks feels quite heavy, but other days are genuinely exciting. I particularly enjoy those moments when I manage to solve a tricky problem quickly and efficiently. It provides a real sense of accomplishment and makes me feel incredibly productive.
Oh, yes, I am very familiar with that feeling. It is a small victory that can brighten the entire day. And here is something incredibly useful for all of you listening. You can describe this entire portion of your day using very straightforward English. Think of sentences like, I open my laptop. I check my emails first thing in the morning. I write code. Or, I write reports. I work closely with my colleagues. I join several meetings throughout the day.
And for those of you who are students, the concept is exactly the same, just with a different set of activities. You can say, I go to my first class at 9 a.m. I listen carefully to the teacher's lecture. I write detailed notes in my notebook. I talk with my friends during the break. Whether your primary daily activity is working in an office or studying in a classroom, describing this central part of your day is fantastic practical practice. It grounds the language in your immediate reality.
Exactly. And then, after a solid block of focused work, comes my personal favorite part of the workday, lunch. It is a beacon of light in the middle of the day's responsibilities.
Finally, lunchtime. For me, this usually happens around 1 p.m. I often eat with my colleagues from the office. Sometimes I bring my own food from home, a prepared lunch that I packed the night before. Other times, as a group, we decide to order food from a nearby restaurant.
Lunch truly feels like a small, deserved holiday right in the middle of the day's demands. I typically prefer to eat something light, maybe a small portion of rice with some steamed vegetables, or sometimes just a simple sandwich. And I always make sure to drink lots of water throughout the meal because I have learned that if I do not, I feel very sleepy and sluggish for the rest of the afternoon.
That is a very smart habit. I also try to incorporate a short walk outside after I finish eating, even if it is just for 5 or 10 minutes. Stepping away from the desk and getting some fresh air does wonders for my mind. It helps me feel refreshed and recharged for the second half of the day.
That is an excellent practice. My own lunch break often involves simply sitting with my coworkers and chatting about non-work topics. We share a few laughs, tell small stories about our lives, and just connect on a personal level. That social interaction, that moment of genuine connection, is what makes me feel ready to return to my desk and tackle the afternoon's tasks.
And then, just like that, the lunch holiday is over, and it's time to return to work. The afternoon often brings more emails, more tasks to complete, and sometimes more meetings to attend. Some days the workload can feel quite heavy, as if the list of things to do will never end. But I have found that focusing on one task at a time is the key. And when I finally manage to finish one significant task, especially a difficult one, I feel a tremendous sense of pride. It's a concrete accomplishment.
I know that feeling very well. It is the best sensation, isn't it? When you can look at what you have done and honestly say to yourself, I finished my work. I did something important and meaningful today. That feeling of closure and achievement is a powerful motivator. And you, our wonderful listeners, can learn to describe these feelings and actions too. It all comes back to using simple, clear English. You can say, I ate lunch at my desk. I drank 2 bottles of water during the afternoon. I talked with my friends during the coffee break. I walked outside for a few minutes to get some fresh air. Then I worked again on my project. These are easy words to learn and use, but when you use them consistently to narrate your life, they become incredibly powerful tools for communication.
That is absolutely correct. These simple words are the building blocks of fluency. And then finally, after hours of focused effort, the workday comes to an end. What a glorious feeling that is.
Oh, yes. That moment when I close my laptop for the final time and say, yes, it is over. I am done for the day. It feels like a small victory, a personal triumph that I get to experience every single weekday.
Oh, I completely agree. That moment when you stand up from your chair, stretch your back, and feel a sense of freedom returning is truly special. It's a daily milestone that marks the transition from professional obligations to personal time. Then, of course, comes the return trip home, my second commute of the day. The evening commute has a different feeling than the morning one.
Same for me. I'm back on the bus for the journey home. Sometimes it is still very crowded, but my mindset is entirely different. There's an underlying sense of relief because I know, without a doubt, that I am heading home. I'm returning to my sanctuary.
For me, driving home can still be challenging with the evening traffic, but I have developed a strategy to make it more pleasant. I play my favorite music in the car, and that simple act helps me feel relaxed and allows me to decompress from the day's stresses. The music transforms the car from a stressful environment into my own personal concert hall. And when I finally reach my home, the very first thing I do is begin to prepare my evening meal. I usually have dinner with my family. Our meals are typically simple and nourishing. We might have rice, baked chicken, fresh salad, or something similar.
Dinner time is a cornerstone of my evening. I love it. For me, it is not only about consuming food, it is fundamentally about connection. I sit down at the table with my family and we talk. We share stories about our respective days, the good things and the challenging things. We laugh together. It creates a feeling of warmth and belonging that is essential to my well-being.
That sounds wonderful. After dinner, I have a specific ritual that helps me signal the end of the active day and the beginning of the wind-down phase. I like to take a shower. Taking a shower in the evening makes me feel fresh and clean, and it psychologically helps me wash away the residue of the day. It is a powerful relaxation tool for me.
I do the same thing. That evening shower is a hard reset for my mind and body. And after that, the remainder of the evening is dedicated to my hobbies and personal relaxation. Sometimes I read a few chapters of a gripping novel. Other times I watch an episode of a television show. Sometimes I even study a little English myself, exploring new resources or practicing pronunciation.
For me, the evening is also primarily about relaxing and recharging. Maybe I will call a friend for a long conversation. Maybe I will just listen to some calming music. And of course, sometimes this is the very time when we record these podcast episodes for all of you.
Yes, indeed. The evenings are when our second, passion-driven job begins. The job of sharing our stories and insights with all of you. And see, dear listeners, this entire evening segment is also incredibly easy to describe in English. You can use simple sentences like, I eat dinner with my family at 7 p.m. I spend quality time talking with my loved ones. I take a warm shower before bed. I watch a movie on television. I read an interesting book for 30 minutes. These are the phrases that describe daily life, and therefore they are the phrases that build daily English. They are simple sentences, but when you master them, they build unshakable confidence and a natural fluency.
And then, gradually, the day winds down to its final quiet chapter, the night. This is the part of the day I often look forward to the most. I finally feel ready to truly rest, to let go of all the day's activities and demands.
I feel the same way. The night represents a peaceful conclusion. For me, my nightly routine begins with a trip to the bathroom to brush my teeth one final time. This is a non-negotiable habit. Then I change out of my day clothes and into my comfortable night clothes, my pajamas. This physical change of clothing signals to my brain that the day is officially over.
Pajama time is the best. For me, I must admit, I sometimes have a habit of scrolling through my phone for a little while once I am in bed. I tell myself it is just to check for any last important messages or to see the news headlines. But I have to be very careful with this because if I do it for too long, it makes it much harder for me to fall asleep. The bright light from the screen seems to trick my brain into thinking it is still daytime.
I know that problem intimately. It is a modern-day challenge. I also tell myself just 5 minutes, and then suddenly I look at the clock and 30 minutes have vanished. It is a trap that is very easy to fall into. But usually I make a conscious effort to end my day with something more peaceful and analog. Maybe I read a few pages of a physical book, feeling the paper under my fingers. Or I might listen to some soft instrumental music in the dark. Both activities calm my mind significantly.
That is a wonderful practice. For me, I like to end the day with a little bit of quiet reflection. I just lie in bed and think, what did I accomplish today? What was the moment that made me happy? What is one thing I could do better tomorrow? This brief period of introspection does not involve judgment, just observation. It makes me feel calm and centered inside, and it allows me to put the day to rest mentally as well as physically.
That is such a healthy and positive way to end the day. And then, finally, I close my eyes and allow myself to drift off to sleep. For me, this usually happens around 11 p.m. I have found that a consistent sleep schedule is crucial for my overall well-being.
I am usually asleep by 11 as well.
And listeners, I want you to notice once again how beautifully simple it is to describe this entire nightly ritual in English. I brush my teeth one last time before bed. I change into my comfortable pajamas. I read a book for a few minutes to relax. I go to bed at 11 p.m. I fall asleep quickly. Look at that. Talking about your entire day in English from dawn until dusk does not require an enormous vocabulary of complicated academic words. It requires the daily, actionable, step-by-step language of life itself.
You have summarized it perfectly, Carol. And when you make a habit of practicing this narrative every single day, either out loud to yourself or in a journal, you achieve two magnificent things simultaneously. First, you are actively learning and reinforcing practical English. Second, you are learning to notice your own life more carefully, to be more present and mindful of your own experiences. You become the author of your own story in a new language.
That is the ultimate goal. And to provide you with even more support and to help you lock in today's learning, we are now going to bring in our wonderful colleague. She is an expert at breaking down language into manageable, learnable pieces.
Yes, she is here now with a special vocabulary breakdown segment. She will take some of the most important and useful words we have used throughout this episode, explain their meanings in a clear and simple way, provide you with concrete examples of how to use them in a sentence, and she will even give you a chance to practice your pronunciation by repeating after her. This is the segment where your English comprehension and pronunciation get significantly stronger, one single word at a time.
This is where the theoretical becomes practical. So please stay with us. Do not click away. This is incredibly valuable. All right then, the microphone is now yours.
Hello, everyone. It is so wonderful to be here with all of you today. My name is Crystal, and I am truly excited to guide you through a detailed exploration of some key vocabulary from this episode. We're going to move at a comfortable, slow pace to ensure everything is clear. For each word, I will first explain its meaning in simple terms. Then, I will provide you with a clear example sentence to show you how the word is used in a natural context. After that, I will ask you to repeat the word after me, not just once, but twice. This repetition is a powerful tool for building muscle memory in your mouth and for strengthening the neural pathways in your brain associated with these new words. Are you ready to begin this journey together? Wonderful. Let us start with our first word. Our first word is embarrassing. The meaning of embarrassing is something that causes you to feel shy, uncomfortable, or silly, often in a social situation. It is that feeling you get when you make a mistake and you hope nobody noticed. For example, imagine you are in a quiet cafe and you accidentally knock over your drink. The liquid spills everywhere, and everyone turns to look at you. You could say, "It was so embarrassing when I dropped my drink in front of everyone." Now, let us practice the pronunciation together. Please repeat after me. Embarrassing. Good. And again, embarrassing. Wonderful. Our next word is passion. The meaning of passion is a very strong feeling of enthusiasm or excitement for something, an activity or a subject that you love doing and care about very deeply. It is more than a simple hobby. It is something that truly ignites your spirit. For example, if someone loves music so much that they play their guitar every single day and it brings them immense joy, you could say, music is her greatest passion. Now, let us say this word together. Repeat after me. Passion. Very good. Let us say it one more time. Passion. Perfect. You are doing great. The next word on our list is commute. The meaning of commute is the regular trip, the journey you make from your home to your workplace or to your school, and then back again. It describes the travel time in between your personal life and your professional or academic life. For example, if you take a train to your office every day and the journey typically takes 30 minutes, you could say,
My commute to work takes about 30 minutes by train. Let us practice this word. Please repeat after me. Commute. Good. Now, one more time. Commute. Excellent work. Our following word is nightmare. Literally, a nightmare is a bad dream, a frightening dream that wakes you up at night. But we also use this word figuratively to describe any situation in real life that is very unpleasant, difficult, or feels like a very bad dream. For example, if you were traveling and you lost your passport at a large, busy airport, you could describe that experience by saying, "Losing my passport at the airport was an absolute nightmare." Now, let us practice this word together. Repeat after me. Nightmare. Good. And again, nightmare. Well done. You are mastering these words. Let us continue building your vocabulary power. Our next word is paradise. The meaning of paradise is a place or a situation that is perfectly wonderful, beautiful, and happy. It is often used to describe an ideal, heavenly place where everything is exactly as you would want it to be. For example, if you visit a tropical island with white sand beaches, clear blue water, and peaceful surroundings, you could say, "The island was so incredibly beautiful, it felt like absolute paradise." Now, let us practice the pronunciation. Please repeat after me. Paradise. Wonderful. One more time. Paradise. Excellent. Moving on to our next word, sway. The meaning of sway is to move slowly and rhythmically from one side to the other. It's a gentle rocking motion. For example, tall trees often move this way when a soft wind blows through them. You could say, "The tall palm trees sway gently in the ocean breeze." Let us practice this word. Please repeat after me. Sway. Good. And again, sway. Perfect. You are doing so well. The next word is convenient. The meaning of convenient is something that is easy, helpful, and saves you time or effort. It describes a thing or situation that fits well with your needs and makes your life simpler. For example, the ability to buy groceries from your computer or phone is easy and helpful. You could say, "Online shopping is so convenient because I do not need to leave my house." Let us practice this useful word. Please repeat after me. Convenient. Very good. One more time. Convenient. Well done. Our following word is exhausting. The meaning of exhausting is something that makes you feel very, very tired. It drains you of all your energy, either physically or mentally. For example, running a long race demands immense physical effort. You could say, "Running a full marathon is completely exhausting." Now, let us practice this word. Repeat after me. Exhausting. Good. And again, exhausting. Excellent. You are really getting the hang of this. The next word is crowded. The meaning of crowded is a place that is full of too many people, leaving very little space to move comfortably. It describes a lack of personal space. For example, public transportation during rush hour is often like this. You could say, "The subway train was so crowded this morning that I could not even find a place to stand comfortably." Let us practice this word. Please repeat after me. Crowded. Good. And again, crowded. Beautiful. And now for our final word in this vocabulary session. Our last word is calm. The meaning of calm is a peaceful and relaxed feeling, a state without stress, noise, or violent motion. It describes a quiet serenity. For example, a lake on a windless morning with a smooth surface and perfect silence embodies this feeling. You could say, "The surface of the lake was quiet and perfectly calm at sunrise." Let us practice this peaceful word. Repeat after me. Calm. Very good. Let us end on a serene note. One more time. Calm. You have all done a truly magnificent job. You have just actively learned and practiced 10 powerful and practical English words. This is a significant step forward. But I want to offer you a crucial piece of advice. Do not let this learning be passive. Do not just listen and then move on. The real magic, the true transformation in your language ability happens when you take these new words and actively use them. I encourage you to try to use every single one of these words in your own sentences today. You could write them down in a journal, you could think of a sentence in your mind, or even better, you could say a sentence out loud. The more you practice integrating new vocabulary into your own expressions, the stronger and more natural your English will become. This active recall and usage is what moves words from your short-term memory into your long-term, active vocabulary. Thank you for your fantastic participation and for your dedication to learning.
Thank you so much, Crystal. That was incredibly helpful and so clear. I always learn something new myself during your segments.
Yes, a huge thank you to Crystal from both of us. That vocabulary breakdown is such a valuable resource. And to all of you listening, you have done fantastic work today. You've journeyed with us through an entire day, from the first ring of the alarm clock to the final quiet moments before sleep. And you have picked up some essential new vocabulary along the way. You have seen how the story of your daily life is your greatest asset in learning English.
And we do not want your progress to stop when this episode ends. We are deeply committed to supporting your continued growth. That is precisely why we have prepared that special, free PDF guide we mentioned at the beginning. It is not just a simple summary. It is a comprehensive practice tool designed specifically for this episode. Inside, you will find detailed comprehension questions to test and solidify your understanding of what we discussed. You will find targeted grammar exercises that focus on the sentence structures we used today. And you will find extensive vocabulary exercises to help you master the words from this episode, including the ones Crystal just explained so beautifully.
You can find the direct link to download your free PDF guide in the description of this episode, right below the video or audio player. It is our gift to you. This guide is your bridge from passive listening to active mastery. It is your toolkit to ensure that you are not just hearing English, but that you are truly absorbing it and making it a permanent part of your own language skills. Please take advantage of this resource. It is there to serve you.
Keep practicing these phrases every single day. Keep speaking, even if you are just speaking to yourself in the mirror. Remember that your daily life, with all its ordinary routines and small moments, is the most effective and personal classroom for English that you will ever have. Embrace it. Narrate your morning as you make your coffee. Describe your commute in your mind. Talk about your dinner in English. This consistent, practical application is the key that unlocks fluency.
That is all the material we have for you in today's episode. We are so grateful that you chose to spend this time with us, investing in your own growth and in your English journey. We believe in your ability to achieve fluency.
We will see you again next time for another engaging and practical episode right here on our English Learning Podcast. Until then, keep learning, keep speaking, and take care. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye, everyone. Your progress does not end here. To continue advancing your English skills in a meaningful way, we invite you to click on the next video we have prepared for you. Alternatively, you can explore the selection of additional videos we have thoughtfully chosen and arranged for you in a dedicated playlist. Each one is designed to build your confidence and ability step by step.